Welcome to the Investor Impact Power Talks with Vinney Chopra, where investors gather to share their insights and strategies in the world of multifamily, real estate, and beyond. Get ready to be inspired and equipped for your next level of success.
I wanted to really start the business of investing in real estate, but guess what? I had zero money at all. Hey there, this is Vinney Chopra. Actually, I came from India with $7 in my pocket, and I wanted to really start the business of investing in real estate. But guess what? I had zero money at all. To invest in. So that's when I was getting sick and tired of my W-2 job, and I wanted to start working for me so that I can get, financial freedom. And I know you might be looking into that also. But how I did that was by pooling the money together from different investors. It's called syndication. I started with one investor, and now I have a list of 370 investors, and I started from a duplex of 2 units, duplex, to $440 million in business. And actually you could get that all from this book I wrote, this Apartment Syndication Made Easy. You could get a free copy of that by going to vcfreebook.com, and you'll be able to get all the tricks and all the strategies that it took me to be able to go from zero money, literally zero money I had, left my job, and also now able to, do all the syndications and purchase a lot of apartment complexes and things like that. So please click the link below in my bio so that you could get this free book, which is at vcfreebook.com.
What else do you guys want to cover?
Like Tom was talking about, looking at in November, possible profiles of buyers or of investors. Carol and I were talking about that very same thing today, and what that looks like, because pretty much finished up the slide deck for our investors. And I don't have it with me, but I think it might be worth a while talking about what that slide deck looks like in this kind of economy. I think we've talked about before cutting the number of slides down to maybe 10 to 15 slides, and speaking from those 10 to 15 slides versus the one we have, which is 50 slides.
We have ours down to 17, and it's the same deck. It's just trimmed down. I can share what that looks like real quick. It's pretty vanilla if you want to see it.
Love to.
Should be able to share. Good.
So once again, it's literally the Vinney format. We have the disclaimer in there, and this is what we've used when we have met just doing our one-on-ones. And I was just planning on us just going through this for the people that would attend the webinar initially, just to cut to the quick. Just go through, give quick blurbs about us. Once again, nothing in here will be different outside of that. How we are unique. You asked, hey, do you have something in there? So we just give one section of one of those properties that we have.
Hey, Tom.
Yes.
On the great investor returns, plant a seed there. Okay. What does great investor returns typically look like? You could even change that to great returns, and you could put 18 to 25. If you say great returns, you got to be cautious, but you got to pick out some of the returns that you and your partner have had. How are we unique? We've got great returns. If you put 50% there, you're going to get in a lot of trouble. We've all had it, but you can put something in this range that looks really good. So people will, like, if you throw a number up there during your presentation, that'll plant a better seed than just great investor returns. Yeah, that's good. That's a great way to put it. It puts a number there and they say, okay, because see, first you tell who you are, you're talking about your returns. Now keep going. Sorry.
And then everything here is textbook Vinney for the most part, just shut down a little bit.
Right.
Add tax. I know you had tax on the goal of investing in multifamily real estate. I know you have tax advantages there on the next slide, though, to strengthen you could put 5 tax savings, or it's just another goal, because a lot of your investors, if they have money, they're going to be looking for tax benefits, tax deferral, whatever. But that's it. You want people thinking of that more than once. You have higher returns than most investments.
Let's get everything
Plain,
here.
Tom, looks real good.
Yeah, it does look great.
Mhm.
We have the call out for Vinney.
Hey, go back to Vinney again.
You're going to say what is he at for under management?
1.6. Yeah,
Yeah, this was done in February. So
I figured. I saw it. I knew you knew, but sometimes we forget about these things.
That's
it also has hotels in there though too, is the problem. Like
It's a portfolio. You didn't say what kind of portfolio.
I don't think he has a portfolio that's 1.6. He's done 1.6 from start to finish. That's
Okay.
yeah, so I have, like I said, I know that it's fluctuated or whatever. That's why we had the plus in there, and I even know at this point he's liquidated and what have you.
Oh, I know.
But
Yeah.
He's liquidated quite a bit over the past couple of years, and you can't blame him.
yeah,
He liquidated at the top of the market.
That's what we were waiting for.
And Tom, are you and your partner more buy and hold?
so for us specifically, yes, we want to be buy and hold. That's why we always laughed, and why a lot of the conversations I've brought up are around exit strategies, right? Everything that I always brought up with Vinney was, hey, how can we always hold on to it and buy everybody else out? The biggest thing now that obviously we've come to the realization of is keeping everybody in the party for as long as possible and having that discussion up front.
But the reason I brought that up is because I know that about you, that you want to focus on buy and hold. Investors still want to be in buy and hold investments too. So if you're like, you and your partner want to be buy and hold investors, there's other ways to say that. You can say we have opportunities sometimes that are buy and hold, and we also have opportunities that we liquidate in 5 to 7 years, depending on what you're looking for. If you're talking to a 40-year-old and they're going to use their Roth IRA to invest $100,000 with you, they might not want that money for 20 years. They might want income going into their Roth IRA for the next. You see what I'm saying? You don't always have to exit for them to have long-term returns. It all depends on who your target, like who you're talking to. If you start talking to young doctors, engineers, those type of things, buy and hold is probably going to be a better, at least something you could offer, or if you just want to liquidate. That I just think of that because that's what you were before.
Yeah, so we've hit on that in some of our videos, and we've even said that on some of the one-on-ones where we say, hey, the reason why we need to meet with you and understand your investment goals is not just for the different asset classes or the different shares that you could possibly get. It's also what we're doing may not be a fit for you as it relates to a syndication, and that's, we've called that out. But however, you may want to partner with us in other ways, and that's why we need to meet with you so we can understand what you're looking to do. And when we know your investment goals, then we can find something that's very textbook for what you've even said before, right? Like, hey, listen, you may have no interest in being a limited partner or whatever. We could talk about other ways. So we want to use your money no matter what will be always the theme.
Yeah. Awesome.
So yeah, and so it just ends. We've made it through pretty quick. We've tried to hit back and forth pretty seamlessly just to make it so that we're both speaking, but then also not making it so much back and forth. We tried multiple different things with different investors, and we found that like just hammering home the points themselves and not speaking over each other or having to bounce off and have both of us speak on each slide, for example, It's messy, so we just have it so that we're all just tackling one thing at a time. So we're gonna have to go through that again for the webinar, but that's where I said I'm just gonna figure let's get this out of the way and just do that for the first topic, and then hopefully be able to get then the people comfortable to set up some meetings with us then.
Do you have a complimentary website to go along with that, Tom?
Complimentary in the sense of we have a website.
Yeah, that people can go up to and see that actual slide deck?
No, we do not. The only thing that we have on our website is the investor deck, or like the investor brochure that we've had, like that we've personalized. So just, we have a very vanilla basic website, but just like a lot of people have, we just have the investor educational brochure for our giveaway there. Oops, I'm sorry, I'm not sharing here. Let me click share there. So just once again, very vanilla basic website, but we have the brochure at the end there.
Yeah.
And then for investor resources, just some of the information that we touched on, we just have it in flip panels.
Oh, those are cool. I like that.
Very cool. Yeah.
So just the bare basics until we can be more like a Vinney or Brandon Turner.
There you go.
Very good.
All right, guys, what else you want to cover tonight? Whichever part of the country you're in.
I want you guys to look at, I think I found some flaws in it, but I wanted you guys to look at the first part of what she's developing a business plan and projections and stuff like that. For then she's going to do a pitch deck. She couldn't get to the pitch deck. I gave her some wrong information. I thought we were doing something else, and I misunderstood her. So anyway, so this is, I'm not quite sure on some of these numbers that she did. Some of this stuff was cut and paste, I could tell, because she put in expenses that we don't have, but this is her first rough draft, so it was pretty good, I thought. Vending machines, the first 10 vending machines are going to cost me about $125, and I've got to have about $20,000 to $30,000 cash on hand to make sure I can buy all the products and things like that. It's just part of the deal that they want. But we'll say 150 for the first shot out of it. The second stage is to get 10 more vending machines. The third stage is to get 30 more. So we'll have a total of 50 by the end of the year. This is the percentages that she showed. I don't know if I'm going too fast or if you guys are like, well, we can move on. Okay. I don't understand what this branding is. The vending machine, they do all the work. There's no, I can put TMV on it with my brand on there if I want. I can do anything I want. But anyway, permits, I did look up the permits. I did find out the permits. They're about $500. Some place every 6 months, some places a year for the kind of vending machines that we're going to be doing. So it's not a lot of expenses there. Just the vending machines are really the most export.
Is this in Dallas then, Steve?
This is in Frisco. Yeah.
Frisco, okay. Where it's
Frisco.
expensive, right?
Yeah. And McKinney is following Frisco, so that'll probably be my second place that I hit. But they're going to give me 60 locations to pick from. And so 50 in the first year, I want at least 150. I'm putting zeros on. Once I have a model that's proven, then doubling it, tripling it, 10 timesing it doesn't matter. It's easy for me. I know how to do those systems, so that's easy. Just got to make sure the systems are working correctly. She projected a total revenue of $800,000 with my expenses of it being $335. And this is pretty close to what I was thinking with 10 machines. And then we just keep going. Now these projections, people look at this and they go, that's not possible. All I need is a part-timer. And the way that I'm going to be setting up the vending machines is it's not going to be 10 different locations. It's only going to be 5 locations. I'm going to look for places that need at least 2 vending machines. A hotel. They got 3 stories. They need 1 for each story. Now, the third story is not going to sell as much as the first story, but so you're able to work those machines, so less time. So all I need is somebody that does part-time, 20 hours a week, that can do 20 to 40 vending machines. And that's it. And then I need, like we were talking about, I need a little warehouse to keep all of the stuff that we're selling in. And then a manager to watch over it. And that's pretty much it. and you can escalate that quite quickly and quite in large numbers. It's pretty simple. My pay will be way above the average pay, and the culture is always, we always have great culture. But I always believe in paying people more than they're worth, because it makes it real hard for somebody to steal money from you when they got $50 in quarters and now they only have $25. And by the way, the apps tell you exactly how much money you have in cash and quarters and everything. And most of it's done with debit cards anyway, but you want to blow that, fine, take that money and you can go find another job. But, and we treat, service is a new profit, and I'm a relationship person. So that's who I hire. Anyway.
So Stephen, what is this repair and maintenance on these kind of machines?
It's a screwdriver and a part. It's literally, that's all it is. If something breaks, it's a part, and you order the part and you get it and you put it in. We've got to go to a 10-day workshop on how to clean the machines, how to make sure that the coin return is working and all that kind of stuff. But I asked them, because I'm not a handyman. I don't profess to be one. And they were like, no, dude, it's literally a screwdriver, a part breaks, or maybe something gets stuck, and they are very basic. There's no high tech in it at all. It's all very low tech. It's just.
What about vandalism?
That'll be insurance. But these are, like, I went to Walmart this weekend. They had 5 vending machines. Only one was left. It was only the key vending machine. Apparently, all I can think of is either wasn't producing the way the vendor thought, or their customer service was bad and Walmart kicked them out. But I guarantee you that there'll be more vending machines there shortly. Unfortunately, I won't be able to. The next training is in December, so I wouldn't be able to get in there. But those opportunities happen all the time. So if there's vandalism, if it's in like Walmart, it's hard to vandalize inside Walmart.
Yeah, but it's not hard to vandalize inside of a hotel. They put them next to the ice machine, and they got it in a soundproof room, and somebody orders a soda, it doesn't come out, or they order a candy bar and for some reason it doesn't come out.
Yeah, it happens. People that I talk to, they said I talked to 5 different people that are in the business, and they're like, this is so easy, it's ridiculous. And I asked for problems. I asked them, my final question is always, what have I not asked that I should ask? And that hasn't come up. One guy gave me his worksheet on exactly what he gives his employees. And it's like the 19 things you do. You go in and you wipe the blah, 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 blah. But if that happens, that's why you have insurance. And they probably have a part that I need to buy from them and put it back in.
Yeah, I will say, insurance in business, insurance is not even a thing. Your deductible is going to be so high to make it affordable. So I'll give you an example. You brought up Walmart. So Walmart they don't have insurance. If you slip and fall in their store, they don't have insurance. They got to pay out $10 million before their insurance kicks in. In other words, they only have insurance for something major. And I know I'm not Walmart, but you'll be surprised the difference between a $5,000 deductible and like a $500 deductible. Your policy at $500 is probably 10 times the price.
Yeah, no, I'm familiar with that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But the machines cost me $5,000. So worst case scenario, I got another machine, right?
Yeah.
But they'll cost less because I buy in bulk. But
so how much you going to raise for this? Or planning?
I'm looking at the 125, but if I can get $1.2 million, I might just go all in and do it, but still do it in sections. Like, okay, I'm going to use the 125, and boom. And I was thinking of stacking it. Like, if you give me $200,000, you get 15%. If you do this, and she doesn't have it in here, but I've got a return of investment. So you get like percentage back plus 2% for 3 years of the net income. So depending on how much you invest, but that isn't in there yet. That was going to be in the pitch deck. So we'll see. That's just my thoughts. And if you think those are way out, I mean, you were saying 20% last week. That would be something that people would talk. But then you said 15% today. So I'm like, yeah, 15% sounds better. But anyway,
a specific investment where they've got their whole investment back, and it's a refinancing. Of course, it's just a different animal. Short term.
two 2 years, you get your money back in 2 years. I could do it in a year, but I wouldn't make any money, but I could pay it back in a year.
2 years. Very cool.
Yeah, so 2 years, yeah. This, I think her math is off a little bit. She's a little bit more aggressive on the income. She was also talking about raising rates like you do in the houses, but in the vending business, you're not going to be raising your rates all the time. I just kept it the same, but this is her projections for what we were doing. And it's just number of vending machines. If we went to 80, went to 180, 300, 400. And this is just the projections of how much we would make.
Tom, Steve, any projections on the need and want for vending machines? Is it based upon like Hotel number?
The company, the way the company sells it is you're going to get 100 units sold a month per machine, period. Because that's why they send a guy out for 2 weeks to go look around and find the places that need the vending machines that will do that. Because the only way they make money is if they sell you more vending machines. Because they're doing all the work. They're finding the places, they're putting them in for the first time, they set everything up, they do everything. So I don't know if that answers your question.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
My projections are $1.50 a unit every time a unit's sold. That's my projection. She's at $2.50, and maybe it rounds out around $2. I like to lowball it because I can see that I go to Walmart and I buy a case of waters for 36 waters for $5. I'm going to sell them for $1.50 a piece, right, and they'll go all day long, right? And so that's where she's probably getting it, because she sees that you buy the Cokes in bulk, whatever. But I wanted to lowball it and do $1.50, but these are probably very realistic numbers. It's just I like to lowball it.
Gotcha.
But this, I also see this. They are not a franchise, but I see this as a business opportunity for me to basically be somebody's business consultant on how to do this. And I wouldn't be involved in it, but I can train people to do this. And it's just a turnkey operation. It really is. Since I've looked at it, since I've talked to everybody, and since I've been looking around, this is so turnkey. This is such a no. This is my daughter-in-law, who's 20 years old, could do this. And it's almost dummy proof. It really is. Their app tells you exactly you got 13 M&Ms missing and 14 waters and whatever it is, it's missing, and it needs to be filled up, and you go get the stuff and you fill it up, and you clean the machine, you make sure the change machine is working, blah, blah, blah. You do all these 19 steps, and then you're done. And they said it takes about 30 minutes, and they count in 15 minutes to get there, 15 minutes to get home. That's why I said I will do at least two machines in one location. So that cuts that down, which means I can double the machines for the person that I'm hiring, so they can do twice as much, because it's all in the Frisco area. And the Frisco area is a nice tight community as far as not having to drive around all like Dallas, like it's all over the place, but it's a smaller, more tight community. So
when are you looking at liftoff, Steve?
First of the year. We won't, if we get the training in December, we won't be able to, it'll be around the February, probably more likely, because they've got to come out after you've gone through the training. They got to come out and they go for 2 weeks to look around and find the places that they think that will be the best fit for what we're doing. They also interview us a little bit. Like my wife, she was in the military and a hospital. It was a lab tech for 30 years total. And I did a lot of work with the schools and some other stuff, martial arts and public schools. Martial arts is not a good place to put vending machines, but I work a lot with kids with the PTAs and things like that. So they look for areas that you could talk shop, right? So she could go into a hospital and where the director is and no problem. Or if it was somebody that was a military owner, she could go in and 20 years in the Air Force, boom, boom. So that's a nice thing too. So they're a little bit more into the relationship side also, which I like. But that's going to be the key thing for our business is finding out the owner's, the manager's birthday, things like that. And you just pop in with a card every once in a while, or this or that, or you send them a text, or you put them in the CRM, got a newsletter. I'm pretty sure I'm going to call it TMV Vending, Take More Vacations Vending, and then when I had a girl that did our PowerPoints one time, and she didn't know what TMV meant, and she made up top market value, which I thought was pretty cool. So it might be both TMV, Take More Vacations, top market value vending. I don't know. I'm just thinking. I always like to come up with something cool, but we'll see. Anyway, that's what it is right there. Everything else is 65% gross margin. This is where she started putting operating costs in, phone, internet. There's no phone, internet, subscriptions. There's no subscriptions. There's no advertising.
How does the machine connect to let you? It's got to be connected to the internet.
It's data. I asked that. It's data. It's just like your phone when it doesn't. It's data, and it doesn't. You don't use it a lot, so it's hardly any data that goes through it because it only uses it when you ask it.
Remember, you're depending on the building you're in, will determine. So I know, and I'm bringing this up because
you have good knowledge. Go ahead. Don't change.
so like a company I owned, we manufactured HVAC control, and we could daisy change. Long before Nest existed, we were already doing that on a commercial basis. The Nest thermostat, we were doing thermostats that talked wirelessly to electric panels, but we still needed access to the internet. There were facilities that we sold. They said, you can't access our internet. They're like, from a security standpoint, we can't have anything on you wouldn't have that in a hotel. They're going to have a wide open network.
Yeah, exactly. And if that was the case, and there are some places they talked to us about, they said some schools will want part of the piece of the pie, which is fine. But the volume is so high during the 9 months that it totally makes up for it. So you're like, okay, sure, here, you get this much. And that's a tax deduction because we're going to give to that charity, whatever their PTA is. So, but the internet, the phone, there's no subscriptions, there's no advertising, there's very little maintenance. The permits are there. I don't know what her other was, but she put other in there. I'm fine. We'll just pretend that it's other stuff that we just don't know. But the total operating cost for what she put in there was for the first year is $55,000. So not bad.
Yeah. I'd also find out what level of tax deductions that you can give to your investors, because that's going to be another aspect of what they're going to, unless you're just going to borrow money at interest. That's a different animal. So
that's a good, I can do that. That pretty much, let me just move my screen over so I think that is pretty much it. She did, it's just a prettier version of what the net profit is over 5 years. But they do cash flow. That's the one thing everybody talks about is, this is easy money. It's just cash flows. One lady, she was military. She's one that had the warehouse and had her people, and she was telling me how she did it and everything, and it all made sense. She's doing a lot of the right things. Total cost of sales. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. It basically goes to the same thing now. It's just basically all the same stuff. But
good.
That's the first part. I'm going to talk to her all this next week, and I'll be at the hotel Wednesday night, but I'm going to bring my computer so I can talk to you guys, and we'll have the pitch deck. I messed up with her, and so she worked on the wrong thing first, and because she didn't realize this is what I really wanted, was the pitch deck. But so she sent this out to me first, give me the financials and stuff, which is cool, which may have been a better way to do it anyway, for you guys to look at that so you can pick it apart and help me out.
All righty.
The thing is, when you're doing your pitch deck, make sure the ask for what you're asking for and what the return is for your investors is clear in the very, very beginning.
So, yes, sir.
How long is my money going to be out? All of those things right in the very beginning there.
I
Got
think I asked you this question before, Stephen, about competitors, no competitors.
Yeah, that's the reason that service is a new profit relationship. We're not going to be able to beat them on anything else, but they like us more because we'll go in, they will learn to say, hey, how's it going? You make notes. This person has their kids in soccer. Hey, did your kid win the soccer game? Whatever, right? That's where the real value is. Then that's what a lot of them were telling me is a lot of the times other people come in behind them and saying, hey, we can do it for less, we can do more. But the relationship is so good that they just like to go away. And I can prove that is, we all know it is, but I did cotton candy machines for the schools for free. And there was this is when I was doing my martial arts schools. There were other martial arts schools. There were tons of, all over, every corner had a martial arts school. And the schools that I started doing the cotton candy machine, all of a sudden there was no other martial arts schools in there. They couldn't get in. I had the PTA president of the district call me and apologize. Stephen, I am so sorry. And I'm like, what? And she goes, we forgot to invite you. We're having our big event in 2 weeks from now, and all the PTAs are going to be there, and all the schools are going to be there. I totally forgot to call. Can you bring your cotton candy machine? And I'm like, you know what? I'll do you better. I'm going to get another. I'm going to get 2 for you. And then the admin called me and said, hey, we hear you're giving free cotton candy away at school functions and stuff. I'm like, yeah, we've got one. Can you do that one? Nobody could touch me because I kept a list of all. It was crazy, but it's the same thing here. And we go in. I'm gonna get to know the person, just like what they told me. They said, hey, when the guy comes out to look at the places, it takes him about 2 weeks. Make sure you take him to lunch as many times as you can and talk to him. He'll give you all the secrets, all the things that you need to know. He'll give you the inside of what this is this and this store, and the reason I'm picking this store is this and this. He'll tell you everything. So make sure that when he's there, that you are there and you make friends with him. Because if you try it 2 weeks later, he's already doing it somewhere else and he's forgotten. And you want to make that connection. And I'm like, totally get it. So that's where our real strength will be, is building the relationship so that it's really hard for somebody to come in the back door and, I can save you $100 a month. Who cares? His people are here all the time. They're always friendly. They're always talking. They know my kid's name. They know whatever. I get a birthday card once a year from them. It's real hard to beat that.
All right, guys. Stephen, I appreciate that. We're at 8:30 Eastern time. So everybody have a great rest of the week, and we'll see you next week.
Great session, guys. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. See you guys.
Okay.
All right. Take care. Bye.
That's all for this episode of The Investor Impact. Stay tuned for the next episode and don't miss out on the opportunity to learn and grow alongside this powerful inner circle.